Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a non-bingo-y rack, but I've got a couple of good scoring tiles. So I can play Welk, and the rack leave is reasonable. Is there anything better than this? Possibly Cooler would be 2 extra points, but the R definitely helps this rack leave. I am going with this. Okay, I draw another R, of course. I have retorted through either of the E's, and there's a reasonable chance that one of them will remain available. Difficult to overlap both L and K. So, is there a 7 with this rack? So, detort plus an R. Well, I'm not seeing a 7. Let me consider the other floaters. How about the W? I have the wort ending, W-O-R-T. I've got the retro prefix. Not seeing anything with the W. How about the L? No. And the K? No. So it's just retorted. Does that have an anagram? Rotted detorter. I don't feel good about either of those. Great. Opponent does leave alone one of the floating E's. Just 18 points. Do any of these floaters provide a new bingo? What about the O? I have the out prefix through the U. No. Okay, so I have a choice of where to play this, and I'm playing it here, because then the floaters from retorted are going to be restricted, more restricted by glouted than if I were to play lower down. So retorted for 60. And retorted doesn't take any front hooks. Some RE words take a P in front, but not this one. Now, I have a lot of vowels. There are some 5 vowel 8s, but they're difficult to spot. So let me briefly consider the available consonants. So through an N, I think I would have actini E. Yeah, and R and T just duplicate each other. So I'm not seeing anything with the D, K, or W. Opponent doesn't provide an N, just 16 points. Fantastic. Only one new consonant. That's not giving me a bingo. I was going to consider L and T together, but Tercio has taken that out. Nothing with the W in terms of a bingo. What about the L? No, so I don't think there's a bingo here, but they are tricky to spot when they have a lot of vowels. Now, in terms of sorting the rack out, I'd certainly like to play off A and I. What's left is pretty decent, although vulnerable to drawing more vowels. So I'm just looking at the K and the W as a source of score. Dade and dyad, not good. What about a play under the W as well? Well, that would require an E. What about a play beginning dyad? No. Okay. Wow, I have this. Akai for 12, balancing the rack, setting up a super hot X spot for Rex, Z, or Zoo. So I don't wish to do that. 16 minutes on my clock. It's important to get these early plays right. A for 10. I think that's better than Akai because it avoids the X danger. It doesn't provide anything for opponent. Tercio only takes an S. Any double doubles I should be looking at? No. Only 10 points. But this is a great rack provided I don't draw 2 vowels. I'm going with... Am I? Yeah, the alternative was something like KAI, which has the same X danger. So I do draw a consonant. Alas, it's a Q. But I have an I to offload it. So I've got Chi, Chi, and IO, which is good news. And Chi and Gi. This is really good news. Both of those spots remain available. Chi and Gi, 34. Chi and IO, 37. So is there anything better? Foray takes nothing in front. Any other alternative Q plays? No available U's on the board. Nowhere else for QI. Yep, I'm going with this. And I draw 2 consonants, but after drawing the Q last turn, I draw the V and the G, which aren't great bingo-y tiles and don't go well with the C. So I'm not bingoing, but it's a super balanced rack and no duplicates. So I could play waved down from the W. No D, but I have wave. Vagi is good. Yeah, I've got, well, opponent does the same thing I shied away from, setting up this X spot. Oh wow, of course it's also a Q spot. Koi only takes an S. Maybe opponent has played that because they have one. So that makes wave more attractive. But it keeps C and G. Out of C, G, and V, I'd really like to play off at least 2 of them. And the 2 I'd like to play are V and G. So what about doing this? Vig for 18, providing nothing, and keeping a really good rack leave. My G can go next to the I, but I'm not seeing anything great. And I've no idea if opponent had an X, unlikely, or an S. Well, there's 4 of them to come, but any play in row K ending in S is going to open a triple lane. I'm going with Vig. Great, I draw the first blank, and the rest of the rack looks pretty decent. 27 for opponent. Webinar takes an S. Koi takes an S, so there's a double lane. So, do I have a bingo with the blank as an S? Don't think so. Are there any 7-letter lanes? I think so, because odd takes A and E. Do I have any bingo just to have in my back pocket before I start looking for a better one? So surely I have bingos through the R. Surely I do. Gosh, maybe B and C aren't that great, but I'm expecting there to be more than one. What about the N? Okay, so I don't have... Oh, there's a double lane in column 11 beginning with C. I don't have the comfort of a bingo, but I'm just going to now go through the alphabet looking for 7s or 8s with an N or an R. These duplicates don't look particularly helpful. I don't think Brecate is good. 14 minutes on my clock. I've got the B prefix, which is a tricky one. Abjected onto a D. Wow, that looks close with both N and R. As does this. Tabernacle as a 10. Well, this also provides the double ending with C-E-T. Citable is good. Wow. Still no bingo. I'm sure there is one here, but with the clock ticking, one can't look forever. So blank as an S. I'm not seeing a 7. But this rack plus an N or an R. If it was 2 A's and 1 E, there would be cabarets and bearcats. It's not the end of the world to miss a bingo. Excubate through a U. Wow, just not seeing one. So what else do I need to consider in terms of floaters? There's IO for bingo's beginning bio. Not seeing one. There's the C already considered. There's bingo's beginning with OD. Unlikely. Floating I. Citable doesn't work. Floating N. Is there really nothing with a floating N? Nope. What about an A? I haven't considered that yet. Nope. And R. Nope. Okay, I'm not seeing a bingo, so wow, I'm really surprised. But my B can go next to this I. How many tiles to play off? I've got back. It stops the opponent playing the X there. It provides very little. Rack leave is pretty decent. And E can go in front of gal as well as after odd. Only 23 points, definitely inferior to a bingo. But I just didn't see one, so I could also play back. Interesting, that's 23. I could also play it down here, 24. Allowing opponent to play the X. Obstructing row O. I think the X danger is greater. I'm going with back. And I draw the X, of course. So I'm probably not bingoing this turn. I have XED in column 3. Okay, so opponent does have the S. Teardrops is good. Wow, so 2 super hot spots. Only 2 T's to come. Opponent may not have a T. Can I get my X to play under the O? So EX. No, I don't think I can. What about getting the X doubled vertically? No. So what about doing this? 39 points is decent. It does allow opponent to play in row O. I've got the same play here, 36 points. Yeah, I can split up X and D, which aren't great bedfellows. 42 points is decent. It does leave this massively dangerous column 1 spot for a T front hook for eardrops, but I think opponent is more likely to make a 3-letter play in row O, and if opponent doesn't, then I can. So really, opponent's got one shot at dropping a T after in front of eardrops. I'm going with meted. And I draw a T. So I have Jota and Jato in column 1. Okay, opponent does play there. Looking at the scores, opponent leads by 14. But I've got a couple of good scoring tiles in the J and the X. And opponent would have had Zeps in column 8 for 75, so certainly meted did work out better than the play hooking eardrops. So I've got the blank. I want to bingo, but the J and the X are both non-bingo-y. I think I just need to be patient and score well with both. I can't see anywhere to play off both, which forces me to be patient. Certainly this is too good to change. So this is the spot I saw. I can play Joe here. I'm not seeing anywhere great for the X, but the X is in any event more bingo-y than the J. Well, there's XED here. Do I have any XA or XO plays? I don't. JEE is good, but I have nothing to go in front of AN. 6 minutes on my clock, 25 tiles to come, running slightly low on time. I'm going with 3 A's, 1 O. Should I play jab instead of job? A is a much more bingo-y tile than O, and duplicate A is not problematic. Wow, all consonants. Let me count the vowels. 13 out of 30, so slightly less than 50%. I don't have any XO plays. Wow, quick bingo by opponent. If through an A, I would have Galax, no floating A available. Lanx is good. That would sort the rack out. Is there anywhere for that? I don't think so. Lax is also good. Really tricky dealing with just one vowel. Now, XO is good, but I would need an E for ref. Maybe I should keep the X. 5 minutes on my clock. EST is good. Wow, this is just really tricky. So, well, I have Lux here, which is nice because it's 29 points and it preserves my vowel, and this is a pretty synergetic rack. Yeah, and this doesn't provide anything great for opponents. I'm going with this. Great, I draw another vowel. I'm not bothered that it's a duplicate. So I have pageant. Does that play? No. Opponent drops just one tile. So is it worth looking for a bingo? There's the floating C. Doesn't look helpful. Blank as an S, not seeing anything. Bingo beginning with A or E. I'm not seeing one. IO. Not seeing anything. Just 4 minutes on my clock. Ged and Ped both good. So I could play Goa, keeping Pant. I still trail by 20, and there's still a blank to come, so I'd need to get a bingo down. PST is good, so I do have pageant. Wow. Pretty volatile play, especially with a blank out there, but I trail, and there is some non-bingo-y junk which could be on opponent's rack, like the U's, V, and W. Gosh, if this started just one square to the left. Let me just pause 3 minutes on my clock. Is there really no other bingo here? Let me have a quick squiz. This is pageant. Adapting through a D. Nothing there. Okay, let me get this bingo down. 482. And opponent changes. Wow, what a stroke of good fortune. Gives me an opportunity to take out the danger created by pageant. So how can I do that? I've only got one vowel. Wow, I'd really like to play my V. But I've got no V play. Playing through the N takes out the A and the T as floaters. 2 minutes on my clock. If I play font, well, F takes an E to either side. I was so pleased to see the V. Wow, my duplicates are this N. Wow, this is wretched. But the remaining pool, not massively bingo-y. But if opponent chucked back the U's and the W's, then it is. 1 minute on my clock. Eight tiles in the bag. What I could do is this Vant for 7, forcing opponent to bingo through the T, taking out E, A, and N. 1 minute on my clock, 8 tiles left. This is going to leave 4 in the bag. I do lead by a bingo, so if opponent doesn't triple, then even if opponent bingos, I may have a route to victory. I'm going with Vant. Great, I have Cell Phone, which plays in column 14. Does that have an anagram? And does it play anywhere else? Any other lanes? Great! Cell Phone plays. 2 tiles in the bag, 49 seconds. Do I have anything through the T? Not seeing anything. This surely guarantees the win. 27 seconds left. Cell phone for 73. Bang! Surely that is enough. I am going out with AI. I lead by over 100 points. An opponent's got 2 U's. Fantastic. So, 23 seconds left. Where's best for AI? AI and Riff. Avi. So, I'm definitely going out. AI, Far, and Oi. That's best so far. Oh, an opponent played me. They created Luxor. They weren't just dropping an M. Tie at the bottom. Okay, so my plan is AI, opponent goes there. What's option 2? Was it up here? That's 8 points. Tie is better. 13 seconds. Anything better for AI? 8 seconds left. Don't think so. And the final score, 360 for opponent, 454 for me, a winning margin of 94 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. All in the balance after the pageant play. So it was me to go first. I thought about Keuler. I played Welk, but I didn't play Welked, and I think Welked would have been a better play, ER better than RT. And Welked doesn't take any hooks. That Welk doesn't twerk, also playable. I wonder why this doesn't appear on this list, but it doesn't. Opponent's rack plays Glouted. Okay, so I saw Retorted playable in 2 spots in column 8. The other bingo was Tortured through the U of Glouted, but opening up access to column 1 for only 3 more points. So I like my play. Opponent plays Tercio. And what do I do here? I play AI. This is a classic situation where you either trash your rack for a score in the 20s, or you drop 15 or so points in order to keep a good rack leave. And I quite often lean towards playing off just a couple of tiles. Now, opponent plays Foray. I have the Q and Chi. That was my play. So I've got a bingo's lead. Opponent plays Koi. So opponent plays Koi without the X or the S. My rack. What do? I play Vig for 18. Scythe, A9. Oh, and Evo. Nice, and Gate's a pretty decent rack leave. I also have Give in the same spot using the same tiles as Vig, so Give certainly better. I really didn't consider that spot, and indeed only considered it later for the X. Now, opponent's rack plays Webinar, which was a nice spot. And here we go. Let's see how many bingos are going to pop up. Missed bingo, quite a few. So, Acerbate through the R. Yep. Acerbust through the R. Acerbate, just the blank in a different spot. Bracelet, good grief. Yeah, Bracelet, wow. Benefact through the N. And Acerbate somewhere else. So definitely quite a few bingos there. What do? I play back for 23, taking out the X danger and keeping a bingo rack. Now, great rack for opponent. And they spot their only bingo. Alright. Oh, wow, another missed bingo. Exempted H2 through the E of eardrops. Wow, well done if you spotted that. So I play meted for 42. B9. Xed. Ah, that's through the, that's making XO for 49. That's really nice. because that preserves the T for teardrops and a really good rack for row O. So I think X was a nice play, and then there's meted. Opponent's rack, and they play Zens. F2, Jotun, that's nice. What do? I played Job for 28. Yeah, not much between these top plays. Opponent plays Cherry, which was a great score, 41 points. And now I trail. I've got the blank, which is great, but I have a series of non-bingo-y racks. So I play Lux for 29, which I was pleased to see. I3, Gox, Ged, and Z, that's nice for 29. Tuck's also playable. Yeah, not much between these top plays. Now, opponent, not a nice rack. What do? They play me, which was a decent score. And now I trail by 20 and I have this rack. And Pageant is the only bingo, so delighted to spot that it plays. Easy to overlook the P front hook for ST. Now, opponent, having offered them this triple lane with a blank and S unseen, or S is unseen, is in the unfortunate position of having this rack, so they change. My rack, and this was really problematic. B6. Yeah, Vol, Gaul, and Go. But horrible rack lead when it's not addressing the danger in the bottom right, which is real and present because of opponent changing and the S's and the blanks to come. So for strategic reasons, I certainly like the Vant play. It's taking out 3 of the, well, it's taking out EAN. I don't think E is a bingo-y floater, or not a really good one. But I couldn't see a play which took out all of these floaters. Oh, wow. Miss Bingo, whiniest. Wow, would that have made a difference? Opponent would have had 90 points, 386. They would have led by 16. Wow, that would have been a spicy endgame. Instead, they play Way for 41. I'm just wondering if they saw whiniest and chose to play Way with an eye on bingoing next turn. Difficult to see that would be better than playing the bingo, because the only bingo lanes are columns 14 and 15, and I'm surely going to take out both of them. Now, 2 tiles in the bag, Sulphone the only bingo, so delighted to spot that. Opponent back with their use, plays Sunny, and finally Avi, L12, oh, through the V of Vant, yeah, that's nice, 16 points, and one of the new words. I played Tie for 9, but I was a little short on time. And that was the end of the game. So, wow, rip-roaring stuff. Shaky bingo misses in the early game. Well, just on the one rack with the bracelet and alternatives, but exempted, also playable. However, a couple of perhaps harder to spot bingos later with Pageant and Sulphone made up for that early miss, and you really should not beat yourself up about missed bingos. Scrabble is just a ridiculously hard game to play even close to perfectly, and if you watch streaming games, you will, between top players, almost every game you see missed bingos, so you shouldn't hold yourself to too high a standard, or other people. And I think people can be overly critical of themselves when they make mistakes. I think the important thing is to learn from them and still basically enjoy the game. We do this for fun, and Scrabble is the most beautiful game, and it's a real privilege to get to play it, even when you do miss the occasional bingo. So, many thanks to opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.